This is CBC Here and Now.
You killed 2 people that night. You killed my son, and you killed me.
A mother desperately seeking answers in her son's killing back in April.
Our community has been really anxiously waiting for this day.
The mosque in St. John's reopens with new rules to maintain physical distancing.
It's still really nice that we were able to have a kind of ceremony and still wear our cap and gown and get the pictures and everything.
Well, it may not be the graduation ceremony that they had all hoped for, but the Cornerbrook students are having a makeshift cap and gown ceremony to mark this very special day. I'll take you there.
Welcome to Here and Now. I'm Carolyn Stokes. There's a plea tonight from a mother who desperately wants answers in the killing of her son. Brandon Leftault died nearly 3 months ago, stabbed on a street in the Goulds on April 2nd. He was 20 years old. As Here and Now's Ariana Kelland reports, police now say they have a suspect, though no one has been arrested yet.
Diane Leftault and her only son Brandon moved to Newfoundland from El Paso, Texas 9 years ago. She wanted to get her son away from a violent neighborhood. They got what they thought was the furthest away from that.
I had to get him out of there, and now I have to deal with the fact that I brought my son to his death. You know, it's the ghouls. Nobody gets murdered up here, but my son did.
Police were called to a stabbing on Sunset Street in the Goulds late on April 2nd. Leftault says her son died after being stabbed in a major artery in his leg. Police have confirmed there were multiple people there. They have numerous hours of video too. A suspect, but no arrests. Leftault says she's frustrated with a lack of communication from the RNC.
I want answers. Simple answers, you know? What time did he die? How many people were there when he died?
An RNC spokesperson says a family liaison officer has been appointed, but that homicide investigations are complex. Brandon Leftault battled many things from the start. Born with 2 holes in his heart, he was born fighting. Then his mother Diane got cancer when he was 10, and he had to watch that grueling process. Diane Leftault says she's now left without her only child and has a message for the person who killed her son.
You killed 2 people that night. You killed my son, and you killed me. I hope to God you have nightmares.
Ariana Kelland, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, it's a big weekend for people in this province who saw their places of worship closed and services canceled as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now that we're in alert level 2, those places can reopen under certain restrictions. For Muslims, today was a significant day because it marked a return to Friday prayers for the first time since the middle of March. Cease Hare reports.
The Friday prayer is extremely important, like Sunday, church, same thing.
Syed Pirzada, president of the Muslim Association of Newfoundland and Labrador, says there's a lot of interest in the return to Friday prayers at the province's only mosque. As worshippers file in, they're entering a different world from the one they left, and as many predicted, how they worship has changed. The new normal means they now have to pray spaced apart on newly marked and numbered designated spots on the carpeted floor. The Logie Bay Road Mosque normally holds 450 to 500 people, but now only 50 people per prayer session is allowed in. They had to add an additional session too, and make tickets available online.
By the time our website was up and running, allowing the people to log on and get their ticket, book their spot by 6 a.m. in the morning. By 6 a.m. on Thursday morning or 6:30, almost all the seats were gone.
Pirzada says, sadly, some couldn't get a ticket, and he understands their frustration. But the number 50 was handed to them by government.
our hands are tied and we have to abide by the rules laid down by the health authority, laid down by the government, and that is for the good of the community and good for the province.
Other changes include worshipers will also have to bring their own mask and prayer rug, and their shoes will be placed in a plastic bag upon arrival, and they'll have to sanitize their hands on the way in and on the way out.
We have advised our congregation to pray at home, come here, participate in the main prayer with the imam, and go back home and complete the rest of the prayer. Today is the big test, not only for our volunteers, but also for our community to be patient. This is going to be challenging for all of us.
Cease here, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, karaoke bars say the show must go on. Singing is an easy way to spread germs, so some businesses have been left waiting for details from government. New guidelines released late this afternoon may have them singing a different tune. Once again, here is Ariana Kelland.
There are a lot of new freedoms with Alert Level 2, but not for everyone. No singing, no dancing. It sounds kind of familiar, right?
Praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song. Let them praise his name in the dance.
Okay, this isn't Footloose, but for karaoke bars, singing is their bread and butter.
Any opportunity for me to make a fool of myself in front of a microphone, here we are, right? So I love it. I mean, I'm going to get out and I'm going to perform and I'm going to do things anyway. But here for the Georgetown Pub, it's been a staple here for over 20 years, so we've certainly been doing it for a very, very long time, and I hope we continue to do it in the future.
Karaoke Mike has been singing at the Georgetown Pub for 15 years. He's turned to Facebook to entertain audiences in the meantime and figure out the future.
We have a sanitation procedure for each of the microphones to put into a rotational basis, so they're cleaned and sanitized after every use. But yet we never heard from anybody at Public Health. I haven't gotten a response.
The owners of Karaoke Cops haven't stopped thinking about when they could reopen, so they got prepared.
We started to source out what would a karaoke person need. They need a microphone.
So for $30 a pop, they started selling patrons their own personalized microphones.
It's a great quality mic. It has their name on it. It's Karaoke Cops. So it's one of those things, if you never use it again, it's a souvenir. We've had people buy them for Father's Day gifts, for birthday gifts. They may never come back with them.
40 have sold so far. Everything is sanitized and people inside have to sing away from the stage. There's no doubt business will take a hit. Fewer people can come in, but the show must go on, especially after a crushing winter and spring. Skinner uses one word to describe it.
How about devastating? Right? The current business plan is by far not perfect, but it's what we got and it's what we got to work with. Nobody wants to be sick.
But as of late this afternoon, some clarity. After CBC inquired, government updated rules so that karaoke bars can open with certain restrictions. Microphones have to be sanitized and there's to be solos only. Ariana Kelland, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, the government says it's changing the travel restrictions at the Labrador-Quebec border. People in Labrador City, Wabush, and Fremont are now allowed to travel freely between those communities. The rules in that part of the region only apply to residents of those three communities. The border checkpoint there will stay in place to monitor the movements of travelers. In southern Labrador, the checkpoint at the border has been lifted. Some Corner Brook Regional High School students attended a graduation ceremony in the back of a bank. The school had to cancel official ceremonies due to COVID-19 restrictions, so one parent offered a space for a makeshift cap and gown event. Colleen Connors was there.
Prep, fluff, adjust, snap a couple pics, then snap a few more. Then make her way into the bank?
So we're having like a grad ceremony, I guess, kind of thing. Yeah. Best we can do during, I guess, this situation we're in now.
After the school canceled official ceremonies, one mom, Denise Lawrence, decided to host a cap and gown ceremony in the back of this bank.
There's I think 4 bouquets of flowers, and there's lots of balloons, and then we have, of course, like the arrows of where to go.
Lawrence manages the BMO, set up the back room, and even handed each student a scroll.
And I thought it was fitting that they needed that little bit of closure to say, congratulations, you made it to the end of your high school career. And I just wanted to give that opportunity to them so that they would be able to do the cap and gown ceremony and to have that little bit of a celebration.
Grads, along with their entourages, went in one group at a time. There was little touching, no hugging.
It was really cool. It was nice to have something, even if our school didn't put it off. It's still really nice that we were able to have a kind of ceremony and still like wear our cap and gown and get the pictures and everything.
It wasn't the same as, you know, if we did have to like go across the stage on the Pep Center, but it was good enough.
For Compton, graduation was a full family event.
We're really proud to be here, right? Because we know it's cold, what's on the go, and you know, we just got the beer with it, right? Make the best of it.
So you guys got big party plans?
Oh yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Have supper,
pictures, and music, and dancing, and big backyard full of fun.
These three are in each other's bubble, and they also made the honor roll.
This is the sash for if you have an overall average of above 90. So we got a couple of smart fellows here. Yeah.
They say the back room cap and gown ceremony made graduating feel real.
We still get to make that memory, you know, even if it's not it's not the same as it would be. We still kind of get to have a great memory behind it, even with all this COVID-19 stuff going on.
Yeah. Definitely. I really appreciate the parents and stuff that went through all this trouble to do all this for us. It really means a lot.
Even though there was no big stage or any cheering, the graduates here really did make the best of this ceremony today. And the best part about being a graduate in 2020, well, all of your pictures will be posted on social media and they can still have a virtual graduation. Colleen Connors, CBC News, Corner Brook.
And a graduation ceremony also took place yesterday in Mount Pearl.
Matt Hart. Congratulations, Matt. Congrats, Matt. Fantastic suit. Lovely suit.
Staff, students, and their families took part in a ceremony outside Mount Pearl Senior High to celebrate the class of 2020. Grade 12 graduates were dressed up in their beautiful gowns and suits to celebrate the big day and received their diplomas in a drive-through ceremony. Congratulations to all of the graduates. Well, in other news from Mount Pearl, the city and its top civil servant are parting ways, and it's a messy breakup. The city says it recently told Steve Kent there was a motion coming to dismiss him for just cause. It's over allegations of misconduct and breaching the employee code of conduct. But Kent resigned before the motion could be tabled and is now suing council for constructive dismissal and breach of privacy. In a statement, Kent says there have been major problems at City Hall. He wrote, "What I found was certainly disturbing to me as an employee of the city and more importantly as a citizen," but he didn't elaborate on what that was. Kent also accused city employees of accessing his private Facebook messages on an iPad left at the office when he was on leave. He says, "I feel obligated to advise you today that your privacy may have been breached as well." Today, the city of Mount Pearl issued a statement saying that iPad is a city-owned device and no one accessed those messages, and also said that any record retained on a city-owned device is in the custody and control of the city and may potentially be subject to an access to information request. The city statement also said that Kent had not reset his Facebook password and that the account was open and available. Before this latest turn of events, Kent had been on paid leave for almost 9 months. Well, in other news, there was a near miss on the Hebron platform this week. A container bumped into a temporary handrail on Wednesday, and a piece of that handrail, which weighed about 20 pounds, fell 20 meters before landing on the deck below. Fortunately, no one was around at the time. The CNLOPB says it could have been a fatal accident. All crane operations were stopped while barriers were installed. ExxonMobil says it's investigating the incident. The CNLOPB is monitoring that investigation. Well, restrictions are loosening, the province is opening back up, but COVID-19 isn't over and many are feeling the financial hit. Here and Now's Katie Breen spoke with Bridges to Hope earlier today about its plan to restock shelves.
Bridges to Hope runs the busiest food bank in St. John's, and tomorrow it's taking pandemic precautions and holding a drive-through food drive. Jody Williams manages the organization. He's down at Wesley United Church, one of tomorrow's drive-through locations. What's the situation? Why hold a drive now?
It's our first food drive since the pandemic, so we're really excited. Our model is 90% of our food gets donated. Since the pandemic, we've had to purchase all of our food, so it's really changed the model at which we operate, and really it's not really sustainable. So I'm very happy to get back to being able to offer a food drive, and we've been getting phone calls every day, people wanting to drop food at the office and stuff, which is our norm before, but due to the pandemic, we cut that out. So it's the first opportunity for our regular supporters to come on out and support us in a safe way.
So what is this drive-through going to look like tomorrow?
You're going to haul in, one of our friendly volunteers will come up to your car with a cart. The cart will have a milk crate, and basically you can just take your food bag and just kind of like drop it into the milk crate. So there'll be no contact between our volunteers and the donors. And then from there, you'll just proceed on out through the other side. So it's kind of like even in the stores where they have the arrows and you kind of just go one way. We're kind of replicating that model just with cars, basically. And being outdoors, of course, adds an extra element of safety.
The pandemic obviously isn't over. We are seeing restrictions lift, but we're still in it. How are you expecting demand to change going forward?
We haven't been overly busy because right now there's some government money, of course, that people have been getting, which is great. But I've been hearing from some friends of mine and different people, particularly a good friend of mine who works, say, at a restaurant, who assumed they were getting called back to work, and right up until pretty much last week, they didn't get the call, and when they called, they said, no, actually, you were one of the ones that were not coming back. And then suddenly, the single mom has to go and avail the food bank for the first time. I mean, a lot of the business, they only went back to like a 50% rehiring process. So we're going to have this new demand of people who never ever used a food bank. And we get calls every day, and we're getting a lot of those. We're getting about 5 or 6 every day.
And all of that being a new clientele.
Absolutely, yeah. We're kind of one of the only food banks that are like non-geographical, as in, we just take anyone and everyone that needs food. Basically, we don't get into a lot of vetting. People just need to show us their MCP card, and we'll make sure they don't go away hungry.
So you have 2 locations happening tomorrow for the drive-through. If people want to stop out, where can they go?
We are at Wesley United Church, Patrick Street, downtown, just off downtown St. John's, and we're also at First United Church on Park Avenue out in Mount Pearl. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. tomorrow is supposed to be a nice sunny day, as it has been all week, so gather up the family, come on down. We'd love to see you, and yeah, it looks like it's going to be a fine day.
Jody Williams, Bridges to Hope, best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much, and we hope to see you here.
One thing you'll notice, the bikes are spread a little more further apart than they typically are.
Gyms are open again, but don't expect it to be the same. What new rules have been put in place since the pandemic? That's ahead.
As part of Alert Level 2, places like gyms, like this Good Life Fitness, are now allowed to open. And on Monday at 6 a.m. they are going to open, but things are going to look a little bit different. Now, to tell us what the changes are, we're joined by Good Life's Jacob Evans. Jacob, can't shake your hand, but good to see you, buddy.
Thank you. Do one of these.
So tell me, what's different? You have these yellow dots on the ground. What's different?
Yeah, so I think one of the main differences now, our members have the ability to actually go online, goodlifefitness.com, or visit our app to actually book their workouts. So booking that workout gives them a guaranteed 60-minute workout block. And when they actually come to our facility, come to our club, the members who are booked are going to line up here on the yellow line. And then we actually have a second line for members who are not booked, who are going to line up over here. And if the club is in that capacity, they're going to be able to go into our facility as well.
So if I'm not lined up, if I'm not signed up, I can just...
Absolutely, you got it.
Wait.
Yeah.
So what's the capacity? How many people are you going to let in at one time?
It differs per club. So each club obviously is a different size, different amenities offered and whatnot. So here at Torbay Road, I believe the capacity is about 46 members in at a time. The biggest difference now is the introduction to our new Good Life standard. And within that standard, and for anyone that wants to read exactly what's in that, you can visit it at www.goodlifefitness.com/goodlife-standard. Within that, we wanted to strike a really fine balance towards providing our members a safe environment for them to work out in, as well as creating a great member experience. So within that, there's 3 key points. The first one is physical distancing. Second one is reduced club capacities, and then increased sanitization and cleaning practices. Okay, so some of the new signage that our members might notice is the directional arrows on the floor here. So that really just helps maintain the flow of traffic and helps support physical distancing. We'll also notice over here in the treadmills, we've actually taken out every second treadmill to ensure that, again, we can really respect that safe physical distancing.
So obviously in every gym, people are required or asked to wipe down the machines. Is there going to be anything different here at Good Life when it comes to cleaning machines before and after use?
So we do have additional signage up, just encouraging members to wipe down their equipment before and after use. But our associates are also going to be adopting a constantly cleaning mindset, and they're going to be there wiping down the equipment, cleaning the equipment as well. One thing you'll notice, the bikes are spread a little more further apart than they typically are. They do have to be spread 13.2 feet apart to allow for that physical distancing. So we're actually encouraging members to bring their own water bottle. As you can see right here, we still have these stations available to fill the water bottles. However, you will not be able to drink from the water stations themselves.
So Jacob, personal training is something that's offered here at Good Life. How is that going to work in the post-COVID world?
Yeah, so we have a couple of new exciting options for personal trainers and their clients. One of them being remote personal training sessions. So that's very valuable for those clients who are not ready to come back to the club yet, but still want to stay connected with Good Life and their trainer. So the personal training client will be able to do the session from home, and the personal trainer could be there on a video platform. We're also giving personal training clients and their personal trainers the ability to do their sessions outside. So now with the weather getting nicer over the next couple of months, hopefully, I think that's going to be a more popular decision.
Jacob, any other changes or anything different here that I missed?
So one of the other changes is that after every 60 minutes of workout time member activity, we're actually going to be closing down the facility for 30 minutes to ensure that we can get our staff in to do a deep clean and make sure that it's all sanitized and ready for the next group of members coming into the facility.
So the big question, everyone's wondering, when is Good Life Fitness going to open to the public?
Yeah, great question. So we're actually opening up on Monday, June 29th. This club here opens up 6 a.m., which is at Torbay Road, and all of our other clubs, Mount Pearl opens up 6 a.m., and the other clubs at 8 a.m.
Weather update is brought to you by the sold-out HCF Home Lottery. Thank you, Newfoundland and Labrador. Your support has been overwhelming. Prize winners will be announced on June 25th at hcfhomelottery.ca.
Well, time for a look at the weather forecast. Ashley is off today, so I'm going to fill in for her for the weather. Let's start with a look at the start to the weekend. What a beautiful day right across the island. 24 degrees in St. John's as the high, got up to 27 degrees in central areas, a little bit cooler along the Labrador coast. So let's see what's in store for this evening. We have a few showers moving through Labrador. Could see a few thunder and lightning showers as well overnight tonight. Temperatures dipping down to about 16 degrees, so it will be a fairly muggy night in the St. John's area. 15 for Grand Falls, Windsor, with a chance of showers overnight tonight. For Labrador, Lab City, you can see 10 degrees as the overnight low with a chance of some thunder showers there. And for Happy Valley, Goose Bay. So looking ahead to tomorrow, it's going to be a fairly gray start to the weekend. You can see all the overcast on the island and those specks of showers there as well for Labrador. Temperatures fairly mild for the St. John's area, looking at 20 degrees as the high, but as you move inland, things really start to warm up. So if you're along the coast in Ferryland, it'll feel more like 16 degrees, but as you move inland, it'll be more like 26 degrees, and with the Humidex, going to feel like 28 in many areas. For the Bonavista area, getting up to 25 degrees with a chance of showers throughout the day. Marystown 25, but once again, if you're along the coast, like in the Harbor Breton area, it's going to feel more like 16 degrees there, but then warm up as you move inland. So Humidex for central areas 29 degrees tomorrow, so it's going to be pretty sticky with those chance of showers. Could see some thunder and lightning in the Twillingate area as well tomorrow, and Grand Falls, Windsor, the chance some thunder and lightning tomorrow for the west coast. Sticky there as well with a Humidex of 29, and once again cooler along the coast. As we move up to the Straits, cools down quite a bit tomorrow in the low double digits. St. Anthony getting up to a high of about 13 degrees tomorrow, 8 for the Cartwright area, and the chance of showers throughout the day as well. For Labrador, 18 in Labrador City with a chance of some showers there. Much cooler though along the coast. Nain, Makovic in the single digits there tomorrow. Moving ahead to Sunday, it's going to stay fairly similar in that we're going to be seeing some showers and some cloud cover throughout the day. Going to see some more rain as the day progresses for the island, particularly for central areas, but it's going to stay pretty warm. 25 degrees for Grand Falls, Windsor, 18 for St. John's. It's going to be mainly a cloudy day. As you move inland, though, it's going to feel a bit warmer once again. For Labrador, similar temperatures along the coast, 8 degrees for Nain on Sunday, and 19 for Lab City on Sunday with a chance of showers there. So moving into Monday, more rain coming. Not so great for us, but it's great for the plants. It's great for your grass in your backyard, so that's good. Overcast skies for Labrador, so some heavier rain expected for much of the island in the east along the south coast in particular. St. John's getting up to a high of 18 degrees rather. For inland areas, Grand Falls, Windsor, Gander, 14 degrees there, so it's going to cool off quite a bit. That humidity, that sticky air will leave us for a little bit. For Labrador, warming up along the coast there, 13 degrees in Nain with a mix of sun and cloud, and 24 for Lab City with a chance of showers there. Looking into the long range, you can see that things stay fairly cool and fairly gray as we begin the work week next week in the east. For central areas, similar kind of story. Monday looking 14 degrees there, and 21 on Tuesday. Warming up then on Wednesday. Similar story for the west coast. We have a bit of the rain there and then clearing off as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. But look at the change in Labrador. So Saturday looking at 13 degrees, but by the time you get to Tuesday and Wednesday, you're getting up to 28 and 29 degrees, so it looks like some fantastic weather coming for eastern Labrador next week, as well as for western Labrador. 28 degrees on Tuesday, some rain moving in on Wednesday, but those hot temperatures staying in place there. So let's have a look at our weather picture of the day. This comes from Ambry. Just look at this. Beautiful, beautiful sunrise sent to us by Lauren Hiscock. Thank you so much, Lauren, for sending us that. And if you have a weather photo, just send it to nlphotos@cbc.ca. Well, there are just a few days left for anyone 14 years of age or older to sign up to vote in the Liberal leadership race. The deadline to sign up with this party is this Sunday. Last night, on a special edition of Here and Now, the two candidates squared off. Here and Now's Peter Cowan moderated that debate, and he's here now to give us some of the highlights. Peter.
Carolyn, it was interesting to see how these two candidates have some very different opinions on the same topics. We got to put a lot of questions to them last night, and one of the areas where we saw some of that difference was on the question of minimum wage. John Abbott says that he would raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour over the course of a couple of years, but Andrew Furey is essentially wanting to stick with the status quo, having it just go up with the rate of inflation or the consumer price index. And that led to this exchange last night.
I think one of the challenges with Andrew's answer is, one, he's not committing to going to the minimum wage of $15 an hour. And secondly, if CPI happens to be negative, what happens then? Because that's a real likelihood in the next year.
John, that's why we have an independent committee to review it regularly. We both talk about taking politics out of decision making, having a framework in place that evaluates all the metrics, all the parameters, and looks at the best way to weigh this in a responsible way versus small business and the needs of the employees is the way to go. I would take politics out of it and continue with an independent committee that's able to make those judgments based on the framework available and the evidence available.
Well, but the research will tell us that until you put income in the hands of workers, they are going to be in poverty situations. So we have to move people up the wage line as fast and as quick as we can, and we owe that to our workers.
So that was just one of the interesting exchanges that we saw last night, where the candidates had a chance to actually go head-to-head on some of these topics. Probably one of the more heated exchanges, or at least as heated as it got, was an exchange that we saw that was talking about the issue of credibility, experience, and why Andrew Furey hasn't always released a lot of concrete, specific ideas and promises during this campaign. And here's how that went.
My problem and challenge in this campaign is that I feel like I'm shooting at shadows because I'm not seeing specifics from your campaign, and as a result, we aren't progressing in this campaign as fast and as far as we should by this date.
Well, with all due respect, I just gave you some examples of specifics. There's still 5 weeks left. The double-edged sword with experience is you had a chance, sir. You had a chance to make a difference, to influence where our province is, and it wasn't capitalized on. So I bring a new set of experience. Experience can't be defined by the way that you just tried to define it. This is, you've had your chance, you've had 20 years to make a difference, and yet now you're trying to be the agent of change. I don't, that's not reconcilable, sir.
I would suggest then you don't understand the role that I played.
No, I understand fairly well the role you played, sir. Like the role you played in multiple decisions that government made over the past 20 years, including in health, including in pandemic planning, including in nurse planning. I understand the decisions you've made, sir. Yeah. This should be about decision making, using the best evidence available to us, seeking outside counsel, not being a one-person show.
Well, I'm certainly not a one-person show. The role I played as deputy minister was to develop plans, present them to my minister, who would then present them to the cabinet. I did not make the decisions. If the decisions were based on my recommendation, but if they made the decisions
that you didn't influence them, sir.
I would certainly try, and that was certainly my job. But if they had accepted all my recommendations, we would be in a different place right now. I can certainly tell you that.
It'll be interesting to see how much exchanges like that one from last night change the campaign, because there is still another more than a month left in the campaign, even though all the voters will have to be signed up by this weekend. The actual voting, well, that's going to happen in the lead up to Decision Day, which is August 3rd, when a new premier will be chosen. Carolyn?
Thanks so much, Peter. That's Here Now's Peter Cowan reporting. Well, this week marks 40 years since the Newfoundland and Labrador flag was approved in the House of Assembly. It was flown for the first time on what was called Discovery Day, June 24th, 1980. But not before some controversy and flag filibuster in the province's legislature. In this Friday flashback, we're revisiting John McQuaker's report, which aired on The Nation in 1980.
From the day this flag was unfurled in the provincial legislature, the debate was on. Although many people liked the design, many others hated it. The Legion even said its members would vote against any government member who supported the flag. Newspapers were flooded with letters for and against the design by Newfoundland artist Christopher Pratt. According to the government, the flag is supposed to represent the blue sea, red for human effort, and gold for confidence. The blue section also represents the Commonwealth heritage with a hint of the Union Jack, and the red and gold section symbolizes the future. The colors and symbols are also supposed to represent the Christian religion and the natives who lived in what is now Newfoundland.
There were some very good designs sent in, but unfortunately they had no relevance to Newfoundland whatsoever, although they were very attractive flags.
And you're satisfied that this does have relevance?
I think this has more symbolism than any other provincial flag.
The debate in the legislature is over, but the controversy is sure to continue. Many people say they will not honor Newfoundland's new flag, but any further demonstration of opposition will probably wait until the flag is officially introduced at a ceremony to be held sometime next month. John McQuaker, CBC News, St. John's.
Welcome back to Here and Now. In national news, a white off-duty Toronto police officer and his brother have been found not guilty of aggravated assault in the 2016 beating of a young black man. But the officer was found guilty of a lesser charge of assault. The man he assaulted, Devontae Miller, spoke this afternoon after the verdict.
I don't feel like I took a loss. I feel like there's a long way to go, and we just took a step forward.
Miller's supporters and rights activists gathered outside the Oshawa courthouse where the ruling was issued. The defendants were charged in the 2016 incident that left a then teenaged Miller blind in one eye. The Ontario Superior Court judge rejected the brothers' claim they were defending themselves after coming upon Miller breaking into a vehicle. The judge said he believed Miller's account of trying to flee only to be chased by the two brothers and beaten with a metal pipe. One of the brothers remains suspended with pay and will be sentenced later. Well, just southeast off the coast of Grand Manan Island in New Brunswick is yet another small island, only 3 kilometers long. Wood Island was once full of farmers and fishermen, but 70 years ago they started to leave. Today, mostly ruins remain. The CBC's Shane Fowler went to discover what's left.
Out in the mouth of the Bay of Fundy, there's an island, off of an island, where hundreds of New Brunswickers used to call home. Now it's a cross between a ghost town and a fairy tale, with apple trees planted among the ruins of fallen homesteads and stores. This is Wood Island. If the weather is right and you time the tides, you can make it there via kayak or canoe from the shores of Grand Manan. If you're lucky, you can make a friend or two along the way, but there are no more permanent human residents here anymore, not for 70 years now. Fraser Shepherd is one of the few still alive who was born and raised here.
They're getting pretty few and far between now.
While World War II was raging across the Atlantic, this is where Fraser and around 200 others farmed and fished. He moved cattle from pasture to pasture here, twice a day, netting him $1.25 a month.
When I was 13, my father said, "You do a lot of the work around here," said, "I'll give you the sheep." The only thing that brought on is more work.
That included rescuing sheep stranded on rocks, surrounded by the tides.
You get around, get them aiming right and give them a push and they'd go in that direction, go sure to keep them from drowning there.
But one by one, families started to move ashore. This is all that's left of the Shepherd homestead, a stone foundation surrounded by the collapsed community. There are still the remains of a few freshwater wells, and the post office where Fraser used to buy penny candy as a boy finally fell over this winter. But a few of the original homes have stood the test of time, abandoned relics from a town that's no longer here.
I think the motor and the boat changed life. You didn't have to be out closer to the fishing grounds as they used to. You weren't rowing anymore. So.
Boat builder John Anderson didn't grow up on Wood Island, but his father did, as his father before him.
My story began at an early age. We would go back to the island. My grandfather still had a house there. And spent a lot of time there as a kid. It was a great place to go and play. It was quiet. It was serene. Memories I do remember waking up in the morning to the sound of the eider ducks on the shore, just a rock throw away, sounding like cattle lowing, and just the most gentle sound. There was no colony there at the time when I was going in the 1960s.
But the school remained at the time, with about 40 students going to the one-room schoolhouse in its prime. It stood when Anderson ventured inside as a child.
There was still chalk on the ledger.
Wow.
And it was all two-person to a desk style. My father always was very proud and stated the fact that he is a graduate of the Wood Island Academy, made it to the full 8 grades.
Today, that school is one of the few remaining buildings still standing, converted into a camp for seasonal visitors. The other building that survived the exodus of Wood Island is the church. At nearly 100 years old, it still hosts a single service every summer by the remaining Wood Islanders and their family members. but it's still in fairly good shape considering it's all that's left of a community of hundreds that left it 7 decades ago. While the island is mostly abandoned now, in the mid-90s Anderson came across unexpected residents while visiting.
As we started walking up the road, out of the woods came a hermit. There were 2 or 3 hermits lived on the island at the time. He said, I heard you were on the island, you're going off, could I get a ride? Before it was done, before we got back to the wharf, 2 miles up the road, 3 hermits had come out of the woods.
He gave them all a ride, perhaps some of the last permanent residents of Wood Island. Today, there are a few seasonal residents who spend their entire summer here. That includes Fraser Shepherd's son, Elliot, who's built a camp here and does his best to maintain the land. Although he can't keep the old homes from collapsing, he does help keep the roads and gravestones from being swallowed by the forest. His only connection to the mainland is his boat and his cell phone.
I spend time over here on Wood Island because it's where you feel like you belong. That's the importance of the term that one of our cousins that lived over here had started when she was a young girl, calling it on home. It's just you feel like you belong.
A 4th-generation Wood Islander on home, maintaining his family roots to a community nearly forgotten to everyone but those who are connected to it.
Time to find out who's celebrating. Happy 55th anniversary to Robert and Rosemary Tizard. Rosemary is also celebrating her 80th birthday. David and Shirley Elliott of Twillingate are celebrating their 51st wedding anniversary. Congratulations to Wesley and Evelyn Stringer of 80 Town on their 50th anniversary. Happy 59th anniversary to Selena and Percy Stacy of St. Lawrence. 62nd wedding anniversary greetings to Job and Alberta Parsons of Springdale. 50th wedding anniversary greetings to Harvey and Olive Edison of Botwood. Happy 67th wedding anniversary to Fred and Marie Hancock of Roddington. Marie is also celebrating her 86th birthday. Wishing a very happy 50th wedding anniversary to Donna and George Thorne of Torbay. Herb and Bessie Morgan are celebrating 65 years of marriage. Congratulations. Wishing Herb and Mertice Spurl a happy 52nd anniversary. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Wayne and Marge Pitts from Cannings Cove. Happy 59th wedding anniversary to Charles and Mary George of Dildo. Mita and Frank Brown are celebrating their 56th anniversary. 50th wedding anniversary greetings to Graham and Frances Horwood of St. John's. Happy 74th wedding anniversary to George and Mary Elliott from Main Brook. Happy 50th wedding anniversary going out to Clarence and Anne Malloy of Portugal Cove South. Happy 60th anniversary to Virginia and Calvin Payne of St. John's. Happy 53rd wedding anniversary today to Oswald and Lorraine Hodder of Stoneville. Congratulations to Linda and Mike Warford of Bay Roberts celebrating their 50th anniversary. Best wishes to Bob and Jean Young of Corner Brook who are celebrating their 53rd anniversary. Congratulations to Bernetta and John Hicks of Millertown on their 59th anniversary. Happy golden anniversary to Jim and Audrey Feltham of Deer Lake. Happy 60th anniversary greetings going out to Michael and Elizabeth Dillon of St. John's. Happy 50th anniversary to Iso and Josephine Hopkins in Anglee. Happy 51st wedding anniversary to Chess and Mary Barrett. Happy 50th anniversary to Cyril and Eva Langdon from Norris Arm. Happy 62nd wedding anniversary to Bob and Juanita King of Grand Falls, Windsor. Golden wedding anniversary greetings to Mary and Alex Park of Cox's Cove. Leo and Marie Quilty from Dunville are celebrating their 70th wedding anniversary. Congratulations. Happy 50th anniversary to Lauren and Ann Moores. Jean and Vic Janes of Conception Bay South are celebrating their 50th anniversary. Wishing Bill and Bernice Russell of Bay Roberts a happy 51st anniversary. Happy 59th anniversary to Donna and Earl Noseworthy of Musgrave Harbor. 65th anniversary greetings going out to Clyde and Bretta Hunter of Grand Falls, Windsor. Happy 60th wedding anniversary to Frank and Honor Dominy of Botwood. Happy 66th wedding anniversary to Edna and Nathan Cutler in Mount Pearl. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Larry and Donna Penny from Cannings Cove. Pastor Neil and Millicent Pitcher are celebrating their 65th anniversary. Congratulations. Happy 62nd anniversary to Mary and Tom Lawler of St. Thomas. Happy 60th wedding anniversary to Wilson and Alice Porter from Kelligrews. Happy 56th anniversary to Alan and Sheila Thompson of Labrador City. Congratulations to Sam and Pearl King of Deer Lake who are celebrating their 64th wedding anniversary. Happy 56th wedding anniversary to Edward and Kay Daw of Upper Gullies. Bill and Marion Hiscock of Buren are celebrating their 64th anniversary. Teresa and Basil Phillips from Cape St. George are celebrating their 56th anniversary. Congratulations. And congratulations to Ross and Geneva Ivany of Mount Pearl celebrating their 60th anniversary. Happy birthday to Mary Keogh of Grand Falls, Windsor. Happy 92nd birthday to Betty Walsh at Kingsman Cove in Fermuse. Happy 90th birthday to twin sisters Rita Lawler and Mona Richards. Happy 96th birthday to Marjorie Cole Perry of Point of Bay, now in Grand Falls, Windsor. Happy 90th birthday to Catherine Rowe of Pasadena. Happy 90th birthday also to Johnny Bautista. Happy birthday to Gertie Lane of Eastport, who's celebrating her 100th birthday. Happy 90th birthday to Hazel Churchill from Portugal Cove. A very happy birthday to Ruby Shea of St. John's, who is also turning 90. Happy 93rd birthday to Elizabeth Fitzgerald of Bell Island, now living in Paradise. Hazel Brenton of Anglee is celebrating her 94th birthday. Happy 93rd birthday to Korean War veteran Leslie Mercer. Happy 90th birthday to Lillian Bridger from Brighton, now living in Springdale. 92nd birthday greetings to Eileen Pike of Stephenville, now living in Mount Pearl. And wishing a very happy birthday to Ruth Martin. Another fine crowd. Congratulations once again to everyone celebrating. Well, thank you for spending some time with us on this fine Friday evening. Hope you have a wonderful weekend and will join us once again on Monday. Good night.